Okay, we are at 6:31, so we are going to adjourn at that time, or excuse me, call to order at that time, 6:31 this evening, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America,
to the
and to
republic
the republic for which it stands,
One
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
justice for all.
Thank you very much, everyone. So our next order of business is public comment. We do have the rules here stated on the slide in the presentation, but please remember that if you would like to speak during public comment, you can use the raise your hand feature within the meeting, and Devin will allow you to unmute and provide your comment at that time. So if you are interested in providing comment, you can do so now. Okay, just one last call. I didn't miss anybody, right, Devin?
I think we're all set.
Great, thank you. All right, next order of business is minutes. So could I get a motion to approve the attached April 21st, 2021 minutes?
Motion.
This is Wendy, second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent, unanimously approved. Next order of business is correspondence, and as always, we do list correspondence in the agenda, and we will have details, obviously, in the meeting minutes as well. This is correspondence received between the time frame of 4/21 of 2021 to 5/3 of 2021. You'll see we did receive 3 pieces of correspondence, but we do have a quick update on one of those, Kat, if you just want to provide a quick update on the last minute change.
Yes. So Paul Sansi emailed me requesting to add a question to his initial correspondence that was included in the agenda. So the question and the response will be recorded with the minutes. So just so everyone knows, there will be an addition to that.
Perfect, thank you, Kat. So we'll move right into reports at this time. So first up, just a very quick chair report for tonight. So if we remember from our meeting 2 weeks ago, we are certainly on the path towards setting the referendum date. So this timeline, and it's a very basic pre-referendum timeline, you know, our path to referendum. I just made a few updates based on meetings and additional points of interest to date. So I'm just going to run through this very quickly. So as we discussed previously, April 26th was a final notification to the Town Planning and Zoning Committee. So that was our third review with the Town Planning and Zoning Commission. So they were happy with the information that we provided. No questions at that time. And so we were able to then move on to our next step, which was on May 3rd of 2021. Board of Education project approval, and I will leave that for further discussion in the reports from Board of Education Liaison. Next order of business for us will be May 11th, which is the Town Council meeting, where we will also be requesting project approval from the Town Council, and at that point, the hope is that we will have a referendum date set at that May 11th meeting. Please do remember, as soon as that referendum date is set and the referendum goes into warning status, that blackout period begins. So we've talked about this several times, and it's something you know, that we've certainly had many discussions on, but just a quick note that election laws prohibit municipalities from using taxpayer dollars to advocate for the approval of a referendum question, which means communications from the building committee or other municipalities are cannot, they're restricted at that point, and we can not use municipal dollars in order to advocate for the project at that time. So during that quiet period, you will see a change in the communications from the building committee and others in order to meet that requirement. After, or actually during the blackout period, we have May 24th, 2021, which is the town meeting, which we are required to hold. That is a reading of the explanatory text, and public comment will be made available at the town meeting. And then the goal is June 3rd of 2021, which is the tentative referendum date. So again, that will not be the official referendum date until we hear that officially stated from town council in the May 11th meeting. So again, subject to town council approval. And then another note there that the referendum vote is a majority vote. The majority vote will prevail in this for this referendum. So it is very important that if you want your voice heard around this project, if you believe in it, whatever your opinion is about the project, you need to go vote. Every vote counts in this circumstance. So we are really encouraging all community members to be engaged, be informed, and make sure you do have a voting plan and go out and vote on June 3rd regarding the Farmington High School project. So that's just a quick overview of the referendum timeline and kind of next steps in the process, just to kind of keep everybody aware of the goals coming up. Any questions around this?
I have a quick question, Meg. Do we have meetings scheduled between the 11th and the 3rd?
We do not. We actually did have at our last meeting, we removed meetings from the calendar because at that point our official business has concluded until we actually get past the referendum date.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, great. So then we're going to move right down to Town Council Liaison report, Chris.
Okay, thank you, Meg. I mean, just, as everybody knows, obviously our budget passed at referendum the other day, and we're happy to see that pass in such good fashion. And you kind of, talked about it, Meg. We at the council are eagerly anticipating next week's presentation and approving this for referendum on June 3rd. So we look forward to our meeting on the 11th and moving forward with this project. So I don't want to speak for everybody on the council, but our support and commitment to this project remains unwavering, and we look forward to the meeting on the 11th.
Great, thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Okay, we'll move on to Communications Subcommittee report. So Kat, if you want to do a quick review.
Thank you. We just met. We had a meeting at 5:30 tonight, and we had a kind of an overview from Ira giving us a summary of what our marketing plan was and how we've delivered that plan over the course of the past couple of months, beginning in January with that first newsletter. I think it's a good opportunity if, Devin, you could pull it up. We have our last newsletter going out. It should hit houses any day now, but it's a little bit more than a newsletter. It is what Ira is referring to an info poster. So it has everything you need to know about the project on here. It comes folded up. I have the copies here, and it's pretty large. So you really can't miss it. And that was our goal, is that we make sure every household sees it, reads it, gets the valuable information that they need in order to make an informed decision. So very excited to have this go out and for everybody to see it. So thank you to Ira and your team. I know it was a lot of work to pull this together, but the end result is really great. So we finalized that newsletter. I saw you took your mic off. Do you have anything to add about the newsletter, Ira?
Oh, thank you. And just refer me to other districts. I'm just kidding. No, it's a joy to work with you guys, and it's a great project. I feel pretty confident about where you guys are. You couldn't have communicated, been more objective, fair, and inclusive than I've ever seen. I've been through 60 referendums, and you guys are at the top. You've done all a great job of communicating, engaged, And it's really great to see really engaged citizens the way you guys have done it, and staff and volunteers, and just keeping it going, particularly in a short time, particularly during COVID, particularly during our political environment. That on top of it, it just I would put you. I'm submitting you to my national PR association to get the top award.
Well,
Anyway,
thank you, Ira. We really appreciate all the hard
no,
work.
it's this was a great team effort, and it shows when people care about something and they care about their kids in the future. It's to me, it was a joy to work with you folks.
Thank you. And the only other thing that we reviewed at the subcommittee meeting was the FAQ page on our website. We want to make sure that we weren't missing anything because we've been updating it as a result of some of the questions we've been receiving through the Q&A process of our community meetings. So I think the subcommittee discussed it. We had a few things to add, to edit. But if any of the other committee members feels like there's something missing on that, or there's something you're hearing, we want to make sure we're addressing the questions that are out there. So that's a work in progress. And then also our website as a whole, we're finalizing the discussions with our attorney to make sure that we keep as much as possible, but we're going through it with a fine-tooth comb right now to make sure that we're able to keep the information we can and remove what is deemed advocacy. So working through that as well.
Any questions for Kat or for the subcommittee? Michael? Or no? I thought you put your hand up, Michael. No? Okay. All right. No questions. We'll move on to Board of Education Liaison report. Beth?
Yes, so I guess the only report I have is a big one, but that on just this past Monday night, the Board of Education voted unanimously to approve the project and move it along in the process. So it was another milestone.
Thank you, Beth. Any questions? Okay, financial report, Kat.
Thank you. Devin will pull it up on the screen for you here. The only updates we've had since the last meeting are in the expenditure, the first area here. We have the May newsletter postage. That was $2,089.68. We also had an additional $750 for Tall Timbers marketing. That is due to the extensive work that their team had to do to pull together this newsletter and the fact that it is not a newsletter, it's a poster. So there is a little bit more funds required for that. So that invoice is on the agenda to approve tonight. So that leaves us with a total on hand for the committee of $130,439.12. I think one thing to add to Meg, just an upcoming expense that we will have is during the blackout period, we're able to send an explanatory text newsletter that gives basically the information that'll be on the referendum question to voters, and also have the information about the town meeting, about the referendum date. So that is something that we will be producing in the next week and hopefully getting out as soon as possible.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for bringing that up, Kat. You know, it is important to know that we will provide that information out to the community so they are aware of what the vote is and the date of the vote, when the town meeting is, critical information around, you know, that people need to know regarding the vote. So expect that communication as well in the coming weeks, as Kat mentioned. Any questions for Kat on financial report? Okay, state legislative update. I don't know, Mark or Chris, if there's anything new, different that we need to hear about.
No, nothing that we haven't already been reporting on in the past months. We are working on the paperwork to get the state grant prepared and ready to go.
And just so everybody, a quick reminder on that. So it's in our overall timeline and the presentations that we've given to the community, but that is that June 30th deadline for state reimbursement. So that's why they're working on the process now, so that we're ready and prepared after referendum.
Correct.
Any questions? Anything around industry updates, Chris, or anything else? I don't think we probably have anything there either, but Chris or Mark.
No, nothing. I mean, we've seen an influx happening in the industry. We've seen construction material pricing going up. Labor rates seem to stay the same. We do feel that that is a reflection of production catching up. And so is that there's extra dollars going into production. We think once materials are up and leveled off, that we'll see those numbers level off again.
Right. Yeah, there's really nothing other than that. There's just a little bit of a bump right now.
Yeah, thank you for that update. And it's something, again, that we have covered in regard to the presentations and the community presentations that we've been doing. We've been discussing how those conversations have been incorporated into our planning and considerations around the project. So I think it's just good for us to be aware and learn, discuss what we know right now and make sure that we're planning accordingly. So thank you for that update. Any questions for Chris or Mark from anybody? All right, so we're going to go right into new business. We do have one piece of new business, as Kat had previously mentioned. So if I could get a motion to approve the attached invoice from Tall Timbers Marketing in the amount of $750.
This motion to approve the invoice.
Seconds, Chris.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, unanimously approved. All right, we have actually made it through all our agenda items for the evening. Before we move to adjournment, I just want to take the opportunity once again to thank the committee, to thank the Board of Ed, to thank the Town Council, to thank our engaged community members who have so diligently come to our engagement presentations and asked great questions and really helped us understand people's concerns and thoughts and questions around this project so that we could provide them the information they needed to make an informed decision. So, when we talk about a community effort, I really think we can say this is a community effort. This is us aligning around an understanding of the needs of the town of Farmington, needs of the students of Farmington for the future, and really understanding what kind of an investment we can make and align our Farmington's. I think as there's probably very few people who have moved to Farmington, and I can say for my own purposes that didn't come here. And one of the first things I asked about and researched was the education. That is why we moved to Farmington 20 years ago. And I know how much this town values education. So I think this is one thing that we can really focus on as a community and get behind and really, show that we do value that education and we can invest in the future of the students and the future of the town as really an outstanding community asset that's going to provide a lot of value, across the community. So I just, again, wanted to say thank you to the entire team. And when I say that, I mean the broadest term of team and all the people that have engaged, supported, and again, asked questions and got us to this really comprehensive solution that's going to meet the need. And it really makes a lot of sense for us moving forward. So again, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I do that one more time before we kind of take a little bit of a break in our meetings, as Michael mentioned before, as we kind of move towards referendum. We certainly do have meetings scheduled out post-referendum as well. So, this building committee certainly is remained engaged. We will be certainly aware of what's going on, and we'll still have the ability to answer some questions. So it's not that we're going away, but we do have some restrictions again in our communications after May 11th. So it's something to consider. And we just do hope that people take the opportunity to learn about the project, stay informed, and make sure that they do go out and vote on June 3rd. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything or provide any comments at this time, but I just wanted to make sure that I added that.
Well, I would, Meg. I would just say, I appreciate your comments. You were forgot to pat yourself on the back, because we are not here without you. And I could go on, but your commitment and dedication to this project is inspirational, I think, for all of us. This is, the day for this school is going to come. The time for it is now, but you got us to where we are now. And I just can't thank you enough for everything you've done, and your humility and not patting yourself on the back is greatly appreciated. But we're not here without you. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done. I know how many hours you put in, your commitment, dedication, and it's, as I said, it's inspirational to me. And I can't thank you enough. So just, I just want to say that. And thank you very much.
I'll give an amen to Chris's words. Well done.
Yeah, I was going to say Chris beat me. I was going to thank you, Megan, for your leadership, and you're always thanking us, but we thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I do. There's part of me that wants to turn my camera off at the moment, but thank you. Thank you, obviously, for the very kind words, and couldn't be more proud to be with this team and working side by side. So what a, hard, it's hard work. We can't say it any differently than that. It is, but it's good work. And for me, I think that's what makes the difference. And I will never, I take every opportunity I can to thank anybody who does volunteer service. And it makes all the difference in communities. It really does. And it's the people that will give the time and the energy and the compassion and the love for these types of efforts that really do make a community strong. So I thank you as well for the words and for the commitment. And like I said, and then I'm going to stop, because that's because then who knows what's going to happen after that if I get too emotional. So all right. So I think we're good. I think we're to the point of adjournment. So if I could get a motion to adjourn at 6:54.
So moved.
A second.
Discussion. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We will adjourn at 6:54. Thank you very much for your time, everybody, tonight, and for those watching with us tonight via Zoom and Facebook Live. We always appreciate your engagement and encourage you to stay engaged as well.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Night, thanks.